Betty. Hello there, old
What's
fella.
up, bro?
Hey there, old son.
What are you doing?
Oh, just waiting.
You just typing away on that
Did you
computer.
see how many clicks I had to make this morning, man?
Well, that's what happens when you get new stuff.
I mean, I was here early, but it was clicking and ticking this morning. You know, it's always something. I just kind of gave up. I'm just going to give up. You know,
You're just going to give up?
It is not give up, but it is what it is, and it's not what it isn't. You know, one day. I'll challenge this. I don't say this to call me out, but I challenge anybody that self-produces a show, 617 episodes into it, to self-produce it flawlessly every single time.
Okay.
I'll just challenge somebody because it's you know how easy it is.
Yeah, I mean, you just push a couple buttons.
I push one button, right, and then we're up and going.
That's it.
No, I caved in. I'm so disappointed in myself, Jason.
I can see it. It's sitting right here on the table in front of us.
Because those people, where is it, Capernaum? Is that where they're from? Capernaum, California? You know, there used to be a guy that, well, let's just be honest, they all stole from each other. You know, everybody said Bill Gates was this great guy. He did some good things. Everybody said, well, Steve Jobs was a great guy. Well, he did some good things. You know, he was all about the art and the design. I give him credit for that. But the facts are they all stole from Xerox. Xerox invented the mouse and a graphic user interface. Mm-hmm. And Steve Jobs went over to their lab back in the day and saw what Xerox had made, and it was like candy. He go, oh. And so he went back and developed that's where we got the old Mac Classic. You remember the old black? I've got 4. I collect those bad boys.
I know you do. I helped you move.
You helped me move them. That's right,
I
man.
know you do.
I got 4 of those bad boys. Bridget said, "What are you doing with it?" They were in my kitchen back in the bachelor days. You know,
yeah, they were in your kitchen cabinets.
They were in the cabinets. We went to Computer Reset, man. There in Dallas. This guy. Did I ever show you that?
I don't think so.
This guy had a 50 to 75. I know it's a huge difference, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 75,000 square feet warehouse. Mm-hmm. Huge. He was a hoarder. Now, when you think of the word hoarder, you think of trash. Mm-hmm. You think of garbage. You think of nastiness. You think of that show on TV, right?
I've seen that show in real life.
Well, not this guy, though. If you're an electronics guy, and we got our friends here from the Walker County Amateur Radio Group, they probably would have been in awe of this place. It was like a candy store for me. Mm-hmm. I walked in, and you couldn't even walk through the place because this guy had hoarded so many electronics for over 40 years. Mm-hmm. And the thing was that you know what happens when you hoard? It starts layering, right? Mm-hmm. So you start peeling back the layers. There was brand new computers from the 80s, still IBM PC Junior, brand new in a box. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking one. He had pallets of them.
Wow.
This guy had it was the largest collection of vintage electronics, because at the time they weren't vintage. Mm-hmm. And someone had made him famous he passed away. Someone had made his place famous because they found out about it, and this guy on YouTube has 2 million followers, where he was up in Dallas, mm-hmm. and his family said, we got to get rid of all this stuff, and they didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So they formed a nonprofit organization and volunteers, a bunch of mm-hmm. electronics enthusiasts. If I was living in that area, I would have been helping them.
Right.
They had to clean that warehouse to literally clean aisles so people could walk through the stuff so it was safe. Mm-hmm. And they had racks of stuff stacked in there.
Right.
And they had so much stuff, all they were concerned about was getting rid of it. Mm-hmm. And this was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And so what they did is they said, grab whatever you would like, and you had to sign up. Mm-hmm. They put it on Facebook. They only allowed about 11 people every 2 hours. And the demand was huge, obviously. And because it was unsafe to have more than 11 people in this warehouse. Mm-hmm. And so they would allow you in there, and you could walk through the aisles, and you could grab whatever you wanted and make a pile outside. Mm-hmm. And, brother, I loaded up, man. I had my whole vehicle loaded full of stuff. I mean, Windows 1.0 on a 5 1/4 floppy, brand new in the box. I've got like 5 copies of that stuff now. Mm-hmm. The problem was this guy devalued all that vintage electronics market because everyone went there and started reselling and if you go on eBay to this day, I guarantee 90% of that stuff is probably from Computer Reset if it says new in box. Mm-hmm. So I still have Windows 1.0. Remember them old 5 1/4 mm-hmm. floppies? First edition of Windows, brand new in a box. Like 5 of Bridget was like, "What do you need all this junk for?" My kitchen drawers turned into software drawers. And you helped me move a lot of that junk
Yes, I
too,
did.
man. So anyways, it was really neat. And here's the deal. You would pile it up, and guess what they'd tell you?
What?
He would say, the volunteers would say, all right, make a pile and come back, and we'll tell you what it's worth or what we'll take for it. I piled up all that stuff. That guy goes, $100. I said, are you kidding me? I said, this stuff's probably worth like 10 grand. We just want to get rid of it. So that's my little intro this morning. Would you be excited about something?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
What would you be?
Me and electronics, we don't always get along.
What would be your deal if there was something that was like hoarded up that you could go through that you'd be excited about?
Heck, I don't know. Right now, sleep.
Sleep. You walk in, see a bunch of cots.
Yeah.
ZZZ quill and all that stuff.
That's it.
Oh, man. Well, hey, we do want to welcome you. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning on another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. We're here to promote, celebrate the good here in our community. Jason's got to get rolling. That's why we were trying to hop pretty quick and wanted to have Jason. I know you got about 5 minutes before you got to go, brother.
Yeah.
Where are you heading today, man?
Got to go down to see the guy who makes fake body parts.
Oh, prosthetic day today. Yeah. Are you working today too? Or?
Yeah.
Man, so you're in the middle of working and...
Yeah, and I have assignments due tonight.
Oh, man.
Now you see why I said I would love to just find some sleep.
Yeah. Jason, I called him this morning and said, hey, what do you got going on today? He goes, very short morning. So,
Yeah.
Well, hey, Jason is here. I want to thank Elliot Herzlich, Elliot's Jewelers. By the way, we're going to have an incredible raffle for Spirit Radio. We had a great fundraiser last week. A lot of folks in the community came out and helped to get that foundation going. Elliot's been a big part of that. And he has agreed to design a one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry that we are going to raffle off for the radio station.
Awesome.
And we came up with the design. Tyler Fordyce is helping me now. And he used to have pack and ship. His wife, Bella, we got it Bella approved.
Bella approved.
And it's going to be a dove with a globe, like a world globe, because, you know, we have a local mission but a global vision.
Right.
And that dove, of course, represents peace and the Spirit of God. So we'll have the Spirit, the little dove, then we'll have the globe covering the earth. And that'll cover Huntsville, too. And then Elliot is going to deck that out with some diamonds and some other things. And he said it could be valued at up to $5,500.
Cool.
So he's going to custom design that for us, man.
Awesome.
So I'll ask him to make a couple extra that I can print out, for me. I'll get you a printout copy too.
A printout copy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how are things going, Jason? I wanted to touch base. I know you've been busy with the funeral home. Guardian Defense is what we're here with today, though. But what's going on, man?
Just staying busy, man. Trying to get folks' rifles ready for hunting season for them.
Is that last week we were talking about that? Are people starting to come in now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're starting to drop off rifles.
Sighting them in and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do y'all do bows out there, too? Like if someone had a...
No, I don't mess with bows. I mean, I got a target if you want to come shoot your bow, but I don't work on bows.
See, I'm not like a big hunter. I don't mind dove hunting, but them poor deer, man. I know some people are gonna make fun of me this morning, but
poor deer.
I know, man.
But you're gonna shoot a dove.
But I'll eat them. I'll eat. If y'all want to bring some deer meat up here, some backstraight, y'all come on, man. But I just them little. I grew up around. They're always in the backyard, man. But I'm gonna tell you this: quit feeding them. When I leave my neighborhood every morning, man, someone's got like 20 piles of corn out there for them.
That's why they're there.
I said, quit feeding them. Just let nature take its course, man. So here's the deal. I'll eat them. Dove, I don't mind going dove hunting. And it is kind of worse with the dove because if you hit them and they're fluttering when they get down on the ground, you got to do something that's
have to dispatch it.
Yeah. What did you say?
It's called dispatching.
Dispatch?
That's the new word for it.
Dispatch. I like that. You got to get on the radio and call dispatch.
That's it.
So, yeah, my father-in-law, we went. It was the first time many years ago. And I said, man, what do I do? This little guy's fluttering. He goes, I was like, oh, that's what you do, man.
Uh-huh.
So, but I was thinking, here's what I wanted to ask you, Jason. I did get into bow, like bow hunting. I guess I never went bow hunting, but I had a crossbow, pretty cool one that I really liked. I got it over, what's that, Cabela's back in the day or something like that?
Probably, or Bass Pro Shops.
Bass Pro's where it was, yeah. And so I bought like the deer, that you put the, what do you call that?
The target?
The target. I'm such an idiot, man. The target. Joe was over here looking at me like, who is this moron? Go back to Austin. So the target, right?
The foam target that stands up. Yeah.
Where where like the middle part comes out of it so you can replace it, right?
Yeah.
And I got pretty good at that. I went and got that thing sighted in. Well, brother, I came home one evening, and that thing was dismembered all over the place. I mean, I thought, what in the world happened? Well, I had a camera there on the back of my little cabin that I had on our backyard. I had one of those little cabin sheds, and I had a camera pointing, and the guy behind me had a bunch of land, so there was always deer coming in and out of there. And I'll tell you what, man, a deer got after that thing, and another deer got after it and tore it to pieces.
No,
and I wish
funny.
I would have saved that. Nowadays, they would have thought it was an AI video.
Yeah.
So that other deer decided it didn't like that thing being in its area. And it was
That's
another
funny.
buck, man. It went off on it.
That's funny.
So, well, Jason, I know you got to roll. I hate to make it so quick. I know you and I always have a great time on Tuesdays. But real quick, man, how can folks connect with you, brother?
The easiest way is call or text me. Phone number is 936-293-0364.
One more time on that number.
936-293-0364.
That's the number. So if you need to get sighted in, when is the season officially open?
I want to say the first weekend of rifle season starts the first weekend of November.
So it's coming up quick. Yeah, man.
Bow season's already going on.
My brother-in-law, he was like one of these like apocalypto type movie hunters. If you know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. He told me a story when he was younger. He was up in a tree with a knife, and he jumped down on top of that deer, and that's how he hunted that thing. I said, dude, and trust me, if you knew this guy, you know he's telling the truth.
Okay.
So he jumped out of a tree on top of a deer, and he's like, I ain't doing this deer blind and putting food in front of him, letting him come eat, saying, come here, baby. He said, I'm going to do it like a man, and he literally got up in that tree and jumped down on that thing. I said, that's pretty good. Boy. I couldn't do it, man. You have any stories like that?
I ain't that way.
All right. Well, hey, go online, GuardianDefenseLLC.com for all of your personal safety or hunting needs. Go and get sighted in. Get ready for the season. Jason and his family will take great care of you.
Yeah.
He's got to go. He's got a lot going on today. But, brother, we love you. We appreciate you. And thank
see you soon.
Thank you all for all that you do. And, by the way, go by and see Jason, too, at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Get your 500 XP.
Get your 500 XP. If you got our new app, Apple, this is why I had to buy it, because they're so proprietary. I can't even program an iOS app unless I have a new Mac. That's how they got you locked in. So the new app is in review on iOS, but you'll be able to scan those coins and go by and earn some XP, man.
Get you some XP.
So, all right. I need some of that this morning, too, man. Yeah. If you can find me some. We'll step aside, take a break. Great opportunity today to learn more about emergency communications. You know, we tie in family safety, and it kind of ties into the same thing. You know, always keeping your head on a swivel and looking out. Well, there's a great project that the Walker County Amateur Radio Group is working with HMH and others now for emergency communications. We're going to be talking about that when we come back. Let us know what you're thankful for as we continue on. As always, our shows on this Tactical Tuesday brought to you by
Guardian Defense.
Guardian Defense, that's right. Jay Tomp over here.
Yeah.
So, and I know your username, too. Yeah, I got your username, buddy.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, son. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville.
I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Imagine a voice of hope reaching every corner of Huntsville, from homes and hospitals to prison walls. That's the heart of Spirit Radio. We're a truly local 501c3 nonprofit, and we're raising $25,000 to build our tower and get on the air. With your help, we'll broadcast encouragement, truth, and the love of Christ across our community and across the world through the Spirit Radio FM app. Visit spiritradio.fm and give today. Let's bring light to Huntsville and beyond together.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
Imagine a voice of hope reaching every corner of Huntsville, from homes and hospitals to prison walls. That's the heart of Spirit Radio. We're a truly local 501c3 nonprofit, and we're raising $25,000 to build our tower and get on the air. With your help, we'll broadcast encouragement, truth, and the love of Christ across our community and across the world through the Spirit Radio FM app. Visit spiritradio.fm and give today. Let's bring light to Huntsville and beyond together.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas. This is KHSP-LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Deneen with Guardian Defense, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
Braylon, say, this is Spirit Radio.
This is Spirit Radio.
Spirit Radio.
welcome back in as we continue on this morning, promoting and celebrating the good here in our wonderful community. Hey, there's a lot to be thankful for this morning. Maybe you're going through a tough morning. Something happened overnight. Maybe you lost somebody. You know, we talk with Jason, who's with Guardian Defense, but he also works at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Maybe there's somebody that you lost that you were really close to, maybe a family member or a friend. And I want to encourage you today to celebrate the good times and enjoy what we have been blessed with, because it is so easy to get caught up in this world and get caught up in all the negativity when we just need to pause for a moment and say, you know what? It's like a pastor told me years ago. He told me this, and it stuck with me, as he said that everything is all right. All is well. And we can choose that today. Just like my little girl, as always, she was throwing a fit this morning. I said, Brandon, we're just going to get through today. We're going to have a great day. And then she goes, yes, we are, Daddy. And the whole mindset changed. 40% chance of rain, though, today as you're waking up. 75 outside right now. Things will clear up tonight. How about 58 degrees and clear? And tomorrow, a beautiful Wednesday, 81 and sunny. Rain back into the forecast, though, over the weekend. And we've got a pretty heavy dose of it, a 90% chance. We need it. And so we're thankful for that. Well, hey, it's always great to have new friends on the show. We've got one returning friend, but we've got two new friends that are joining us this morning here on Good Morning Huntsville. These guys today are representing the Walker County Amateur Radio Group, and joined by my good friend Russ Cooper, Rick Fell joining, a new friend, and Joe Shorey with us today. So, Russ, I'll start with you. How's it going, man?
Going good. I'll tell you, it was a big prayer getting through that traffic in New Waverly this morning, but we're here. So thanks for having us on. We appreciate it very much, Rob.
You bet. You were telling me you had called me and said, hey, I'm on the way. It's going to be a little bit. And when you said I'm going through traffic, I thought, man, are you coming out of like Conroe or something? Then when you said New Waverly, I said, wait a minute.
Oh, the wave of people are on their way. So I hope that they get some infrastructure going and people can start moving around a little bit better.
And you got a busy day. I know you travel a lot with your work. So you're back on a plane today, right?
Yeah, back on a plane today, headed to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico for a couple of days out there, get the boss settled in, get him, carry him back, and going to be a busy day today. So we'll change uniforms as we go out the door. See,
before you walked in, we were talking about like mysterious airlines, and did y'all hear where he's going? See, New Mexico, we were talking about that airline. So
we have seen some aliens out there. So
we won't give away your secret, Russ.
We won't bring any back either. So
well, Russ is with the Walker County Amateur Radio Group, and Russ, I want to get, just for our audience, I always like for folks to get to know people a little bit more. Maybe just let us know a little bit about you and how you got here to this area, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I grew up in the great state of Arkansas and back in the hills. A couple of our classmates didn't get power until we were in our senior year, and that's the God's honest truth. And went into the military, studied at Henderson State University through aviation science. Loved my military time, probably shouldn't have never got out. Went into the FAA as an air traffic controller. God bless those people for working without a paycheck. And followed my job on down into Houston, retired in 2012. My dad was a ham operator. I had to do something in my off time. So after about 3 weeks of retirement, the wife said, you got about 3 days to go find you a JOB job. So I went back to flying, got into amateur radio here with the Walker County Amateur Radio Group, and just loving it ever since.
Well, you mentioned something, if you don't mind me asking, and then I want to chat with Rick too. The FAA, we had to go through a study, and I wanted to just first and foremost, friends, this group and Russ and the group have been so good to us as we bring Spirit Radio to life here. It's an LPFM, and I look up to you guys. I'm like some wannabe radio guy. You guys are the real deal, and we have worked through the weeds. It's been 2 years to get this LPFM finally going. I wish I would have known you before, because we had to do an FAA study because of the tower that we're going to build.
That was part of my background as well, into TERPs and aerospace and procedures, and we could have knocked that out easily. But we're here to help you, and we want to get the station up and running. We sure do, Rob.
Well, that's great. Well, we appreciate y'all, and I want to let folks know, if you see anything going on in town that the Walker County Amateur Radio Group is doing, please reach out and support them. We're going to talk here in a little bit about why they're here today. But before we do, we'll switch gears and go over to Rick Fell. Rick is joining us. Rick, welcome in. First-time guest on the show, man.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
You bet. Let us know a little bit, kind of maybe your story and how you got to this area and how you got connected to the group.
Well, good question. My dad was a volunteer fireman. Sorry, not fireman. He'd go out and direct traffic. So as a kid, we get the call about like 2 a.m. to go down to the volunteer fire department. I get to put the blue light in the dashboard, and off we
Oh,
go.
cool.
And he direct traffic, make sure nobody, hit the fire trucks or firemen, and then we follow the trucks to the next destination. Part of that required you to have a scanner in your
Okay.
house, right? And that's back in the day. We had to put the crystals inside.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
actually tuned it
Okay.
into the
Go to
so that's-
Radio Shack, pick up some replacement
Exactly
parts.
right. So that's where I started as a kid. Got my ham license when I was 16, and kind of went from there. So then I joined the military and did radio microwave systems there. Then that was in the Army. Then I got out of the Army, went to the Air Force, and did avionics work for them for a
cool.
bit. And then joined up with oil and gas company, and then traveled the world and did most of their infrastructure activities. So that was pretty cool. So retired about 5 years ago. Rebuilt a house over here in New Waverly. Moved off of Lake Conroe. Of course, oil and gas, you move around a lot, and that was my story. So my wife was looking at the postcard magazine.
Yeah.
Happened to be flipping through it and seeing a picture of Russ at Fair in the Square, and says, "Hey, weren't you a ham radio operator or something like that?" And in Germany, I had my antennas and radios kind of sticking out of the barracks window.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time, wife, lived in the barracks above me, so knocking on the ceiling 3 times, if you will. So that's how that kind of transpired. So she's flipping through the magazines. You're going to have to do something now that you're retired. And so I got this, and this is the very radio. This is probably
cool.
3 years ago. I got this radio off of Amazon. I tuned into Russ and some of the other club members on the local repeater. And I'm just kind of intercepting, listening to what they're doing. So at the time, even though I had my license back when I was 16, I let it lapse.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I went on the internet trail, right? I was going down that road, thought radio was dead.
Yeah.
Now I come back after in retirement and find out that radio is alive and well. Ham radio is alive and well. A lot of the digital activities going on. So now you have to take your computer knowledge and blend it with internet knowledge, blend it with radio knowledge, and make it all hang together.
That's cool.
So I've been with the club about 2 years now. I'm also a member of the county emergency radio organization, the state one, and the federal one. So got my feet in multiple different camps. But as a volunteer, you can choose to do as little, as much as you want, and here we are.
Well, it's good y'all are in New Waverly because in Huntsville you're voluntold. So, maybe there's still a volunteer in New Waverly. So,
That's right.
But we appreciate y'all. It's so good, Rick. Real quick, I wanted to ask you, are you from this area or where did you grow up?
Upstate New York.
No way.
My call sign is WA2HRF. So I get some flack for that because I didn't change my call sign. I stuck with my original one from 16 years old.
Are you K on this side of the Mississippi? Is it that way in the Ham? Because I don't.
It could be W or K or
Okay.
N. Right. That's kind of a.
You said upstate. Where I was visiting, my wife knows. Back in the day, of course, I had a girlfriend before my wife, and now my wife is very beautiful, and I wouldn't trade her for the world. But I was in a relationship for a few years. There was a young lady I dated, and we ended up driving all the way. Her cousin lived in Utica and outside of New Hartford, and I'm going to tell you, it gave me a whole different perspective of the state of New York. It was beautiful up there.
Yep.
The Adirondacks, is that right? The mountain ranges of
Yes, so I'm further west from there. It's in the Finger Lakes. So if
Okay.
you look on the map and you see these 5
Yeah.
Finger Lakes, I grew up near the one called Keuka.
Okay.
And I was just back there a couple of weeks ago for my mother needed some medical attention. And interesting enough, my father texted me the other day, says, "We have had no power for 6 hours. What can we do?" So now he wants to get a scanner so he can listen to the local
cool.
fire department and ambulance and figure out what's going on.
That's cool. That's
right?
what it's
so,
about.
But
yeah.
they were, no power for 6 hours. My mother's cold. It's 65 degrees out there. The heater's always on.
Yeah.
So upstate New York is,
Awesome.
is the original.
Well, Rick, so great to have you. Thank you for sharing all that too, man. It's so fun to hear the stories and the connections. Our good friend Joe Shorey joined. Joe has been a friend of this program. Works in cardio over at HMH as well. But Joe, good to see you. How have you been, man?
Yeah, man, we've been doing really good. Trying to stay calm at the hospital, but it's been busy.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of projects going on over there, as what everybody knows, on top of the project that we're doing with Walker County Amateur Radio Groups.
Yeah, and I had no idea that you had a connection. When Russ was telling me about some of these things and some other folks had reached out, your name was, I said, Joe Shorey's a part of this. How cool is that? So,
Man, yeah, I mean, We had this community exercise that was put together. Adam Whittingham, our city emergency manager, he coordinates a drill exercise every year for all the different emergency entities to work together to try to figure out, areas for opportunity in the community. And this year's was a downtime communication exercise. And so, we designed it to see what abilities that we had and what opportunities that were out there for us to be able to maintain communications if cell phone towers went down, if internet was lost in our area.
Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you. I wanted to this is good because I wanted to transition into this. We got to know these guys a little bit, and there is an emergency kind of preparedness that's going on, a collaboration now with HMH, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. Because radio, when everything else goes out, radio is still on, and it is a vital part of emergencies. So that's kind of where I just wanted our folks to know that's where we're leading this conversation.
Yeah, and a lot of folks don't realize that, hospital operations on a day-to-day, you talk about emergency care, the emergency room care. And then there's a second side of that kind of flies under the radar, doesn't get utilized very much, but you have to have it, and that's our emergency management of the hospital. And that's one of my hats there is I'm the emergency management coordinator for the hospital. And so with that came our connection with Walker County Amateur Radio Group through an email. Russ answered that email. We started talking about capabilities that we may need at the hospital. So the relationship began, and Mr. Russ said, I've got somebody for you, and Rick here was voluntold to come help HMH.
See, you're in Huntsville, not just voluntold, brother.
That's right. But it's been a great relationship that we've built with these guys. I couldn't ask for more support from anybody than we have gotten from these guys. My ignorance in the beginning came out because I had no idea other than I push a button and can talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And that wasn't happening. We weren't able to do that. And these guys have come in there, brought all this specialized equipment to see what we have, how can we make it work better. Not just for internal communications at the hospital, but just, community-wide with the city, with the county, with our regional advisory council. I'm also a part of the Southeast Texas Regional Advisory Council. It's divided into 4 areas. Our hospital is part of the West Corridor, and I'm the co-chair of the West Corridor, so we're integrated into our regional emergency preparedness plans as well. And so all of that together with these guys have helped us to get resilience in case something happens.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'd like to go back to Russ for a few moments and maybe talk a little bit more about this partnership and just how critical it is. I'd made a statement a few moments ago that, radio is that last line of defense. It's the first line, and it's also can be the last line. If there was an outage, radio still is the number one way to communicate. So, Russ, maybe highlight a little bit of the importance of this project and give folks a little more insight into it.
Oh, yeah, and it is, Rob. Radio is always going to be there. And living on the Gulf Coast, a hurricane in your backyard is quite the possibility. Exists just about every summer. So
trust me, we had 2 trees fall on ours a couple of years ago. Yeah,
that or tornadoes. Welcome to Tornado Alley. So we want to make sure that in the event that something happens behind the scenes, amateur radio is alive and well. I like to use the example of Joplin, Missouri, which got tore up with a EF5 tornado that came through.
Terrible.
It was the hams that came to the defense of the town, provided communications where the hospital was about destroyed. We got to thinking, man, that could possibly be here in Huntsville as well. So what can we do to enhance that communication? We want to be able to keep in contact with the state, nationally as well, but more locally during an event or a disaster. The hospital is the central collecting point for everything. We need triages, we need medical care, who can we get in, who can we not get in, what's happening in New Waverly, what's happening out in B-Dias, how have people been affected. And that's where we can actually set up our mobile communications. Each operator has a go box. As a matter of fact, I have one ready to go in the airplane on my trip today, and I'll practice being on the road, and it'll be a good thing. But when the Office of Emergency Services contacted me and said, hey, we've got to get something going with the hospital. And I communicated directly with Joe. We put together a plan. We put together a purpose and a focus to see where we needed to go. Got with our club president, Brother Clinton Hightower, great guy. He says, we got the guy, Rick Fell. He's a titan in this type of operation. In his corporate background and structure, man, he's going to get the job done. I said, Rick, you are voluntold, and there he is. And some of the highlights that have come out of this has just been fantastic. But it's great to get the hospital online. We ourselves have committed the Walker County Amateur Radio Group equipment to provide that inline communication between us and Houston, so that they can communicate with their hospitals down there.
So that's kind of this network of being able to communicate with other hospitals. Maybe if, God forbid, a terrible thing happened here and y'all ran out of space, you could get on that radio if there was no communication and say, we need help. You got a direct line down to Houston now for that, correct?
Or vice versa. If Houston has got trouble, man, they can start spread down to the outlying facilities, and we can provide that service.
That's great.
Yep.
Oh, maybe, Rick, if you don't mind, maybe a little bit on the equipment side, maybe, not the technical details, but maybe just some of the integration, if you don't mind. How did that kind of come about? What all was involved? If you don't mind, maybe highlighting some of those things.
No,
I kind of assumed you were the guy to ask that question, too.
Well, I'm walking in cold, right? So I meet Joe and says, okay, what is it you do? Who do you need to talk to on the good day and bad day? And I go, well, wait a minute. They got emergency on the door out in front. So every day is an emergency there, and they advertise it on the front. However, from a comms perspective, understanding who they need to communicate with, under what circumstances, what equipment can do that communication. And then just as important, the people they're trying to communicate with, or those folks that are trying to communicate with the hospital, what capabilities do they have? And then try to do the matchmaking, which is the tricky part. Mm-hmm. And the easy example is we're all familiar with our cell phones don't work or our landlines don't work, or both, right? But you're trying to get a hold of somebody. You got one thing working, but the other person might have only just a radio, or they might have just their cell phone. So how do you make that work? And coming up with those scenarios, and that's the plan, is having an option A, B, C, and D available to you, and matchmaking it with the other organization, and vice versa. So the first order was to figure out what Joe has and how do they use it, what its capability is, what it's configured to do, and then fill in the blanks, right? So the assessment part. So that's kind of where we've completed that part. Now we're in the middle of implementing some of the changes to get that resiliency that Joe described. Configure some of the radio equipment to be more capable, right? As well as be able to put in additional communication systems like ham radio within their organization, and get their individuals trained to be licensed ham radio operators so they could operate that equipment as well. So we've got them some new ham radio equipment. We've actually set up, did an exercise, about 3-4 weeks ago in the parking lot, and was able to have high frequency communications through an antenna piece of wire sticking out in the yard, to be able to communicate to the national traffic net that's operated out of northern Texas. We're able to communicate through walkie-talkies, our two-way radios with our Office of Emergency Service. We're able to communicate to the State Operations Center in Austin. All that from just a table sitting out in the parking lot.
Wow.
Right? But we're going to take that same equipment, which is what we were operating, was actually Joe's equipment out there, and we're going to put that inside into the radio room this week, so that they'll have that capability at a moment's notice. Then we've got the backfill, of course, as Russ described, that says if you need more people or capability, right, you're I would say a call away, but our cell phones might not be working, so you're actually a radio away. And we make sure we document that in this plan that says, here's option A, B, and C for getting hold of the club. Here's A, B, and C option to getting a hold of Walker County Office of Emergency Service. You talked about dispatching earlier. Here's how dispatch can get a hold of hospital if the normal means don't work. And here's how the hospital can get a hold of dispatch if normal means don't work. So that was kind of the process. Assess what you've got, figure out what you can and can't do, fill in the gaps, test, train, document, drill.
Wow. Man, that's good. I mean, I can see why you're the guy for this job, Rick. I think it's incredible just the sense of professionalism that you've brought to this project, because it needs to be up to par. You're the guy for the job, and I'm telling you, this is why we do this show. Why I'm so thankful, Rick, that we get to do this, to educate Huntsville. I mean, here we are in Huntsville, Texas, but coming up with things that are very much needed. There's a lot of communities of this size that probably don't have these things integrated, and it's very important that we have that here in Huntsville. So I think it's awesome. So thank you for the hard work that you've done. And these are things that people need to know about. You know, friends, we don't think about it. Perfect example, you know, Rick, you and I could probably go to lunch and have some good conversations talking tech stuff. You know, I like talking about some of that stuff. But, you know, a lot of people now use voice over IP services, which is, you know, calling, making phone calls through the phone. They do it through, they'll connect their phone to Wi-Fi, you know, at home. Maybe they don't have service, so they call through Wi-Fi now. Well, what happened yesterday? Amazon, huge backbone, went down, and services all over the globe were affected by it. It affected us on our voice over IP service. So if I only had voice over IP, guess what? I would have been without communication. That's why radio plays such an important role. So, Joe, any final just kind of comments from you, Joe, this morning about just how all this came about and how excited you are to have this here in Huntsville?
Well, I think it's extremely exciting for us because, as you know, as Russ said, when things get bad, when we have an emergency, a large-scale emergency, the hospital becomes the center point, a rally point for everybody. You've got folks from the community who don't know what to do, who are just seeking direction. They'll come to the hospital. We get inundated again with our normal emergency emergency partners in town. Walker County EMS shows up. And it becomes a hub during an emergency situation. And for us to now have the capability to speak not just locally, I can have a way to talk to Huntsville Fire Department. I have a way to talk to Walker County EMS. I can talk to Walker County Office of Emergency Management. And if we need resources from outside of our county, we can talk to Montgomery County. We can reach all the way down now to TransStar down in Houston.
Wow.
At our CMOC location, our critical operations center downtown Houston, that if we needed something here, we have a way to request that
by radio. That's cool.
To get the information. And you know, whether it's a local emergency, a regional emergency, we now have resilience. We can continue our operations at the hospital in an emergency situation. And this doesn't end. I mean, I can tell you, Rick has put in probably 1,000+ hours into this program. He's been at the hospital once a week, every Thursday for right at 6 months, plus all the time that he's put into this at home, on his days off, or sitting at the dirt track watching his grandkid run his motorcycle. Weekends, nights, we're communicating. It's just been a great partnership with these guys. We can't thank y'all enough for everything that y'all have done for us, and we look forward to working with y'all going forward in the future. And we look forward to, you know, being able to provide those services to the community long term as well.
Well, that's great. Well, Joe, thank you for what you do. I know you're such a humble guy, but man, you do so much behind the scenes, you know, with the hard work you do at the cardiovascular area there at HMH. And then being kind of in the forefront with the radio programming as well. I think that is something that is commendable, and you don't get enough credit for the hard work that you do and your staff. So thank you, my friend, for all that you do, man.
Appreciate that. You know, we have a group of ham radio operators at the hospital now. I got to give them a plug too. We set up 2 crash courses for ham radio licensing. There's myself, then we have one Jeff. He was a ham operator before that. And then William Bill Hooks and Amy Powell. So we have our own little Huntsville Memorial Hospital Amateur Radio Club.
Oh, okay. Cool, yeah.
We have a call sign for the hospital now. It's been a great thing. But, you know, that would have never come to fruition without the help and support from Walker County Amateur Radio Group and all that they do for us. It's been amazing.
Awesome.
But I would like to do one last shameless plug here.
Yeah, please. And Tanya's watching, by the way.
So Tanya, don't get any ideas. You've heard that when guys retire, they have to find something else to do. Okay. That means I'll never retire. But this is also National Respiratory Care Week. So I am a respiratory therapist. I've been a respiratory therapist for 20 years. We have 24 RTs at the hospital. So I wanted to say, hey, thank y'all for everything that you do for us at the hospital. Thank you for being the RTs that you are, the great experience that they have. And just every day showing up and doing what's best for all of our patients. So, it's not radio operator related, but, our RTs at the hospital are amazing people. They work the emergency room, inpatient, neonatal. I mean, we take care from first breath to last breath.
Yeah, man.
We like to say, we're cute enough to take your breath away and smart enough to give it back.
I like it, man.
But,
Well, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
And thank you for
sir.
the kind words.
You bet, man. I want to end with Russ, if that's okay. And Rick, appreciate you taking time to be here as well today. Russ, real quick, maybe somebody's watching this morning saying, I've always heard about radio stuff. I've always heard about these radio clubs or radio groups. I don't know anything, but I want to get involved. I want to be part of an emergency network. I want to help. I want to figure out what to do, during a disaster. How can I help? Maybe let folks know how they can get involved.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the club maintains a website at www.wcarg.org, Walker County Amateur Radio Group.org. It lists a background of the club, what we can do, telephone numbers to get in hold of certain people if you're interested. We hold once a month, and we are going to hold what we call the ham cram this month. We have 5 applicants that are coming in that will spend all day out at the airport and utilizing the classroom out there. And we appreciate Wade Gillespie allowing us the graciousness to come in and hold class in there.
How much is that class? If somebody is that open to anyone right now?
It's open to anyone. We just ask that you go to the website. Contact Scott Ball, who is our education coordinator. There are some steps that you need to go through. Log on to the FCC's website to apply for your FRN number. That is paramount before testing. So, but we'll go through the entire course, the question pool. We hope that folks will come in with a background, maybe go online and look at hamstudy.org and go through some of the questions, but we'll fill in the blanks and gaps. Explaining some of the theory quickly as we can as we go through all of the 5 modules, and we will test that day as well.
So it's a one-day
wow. thing, yeah. That's why we call it a ham cram.
Hey, and you'll know this, and no more, if I'm not mistaken, no more. That
is true, but
you need to know it.
If you enjoy a second language, that's a lot of fun to
You know
learn.
what I just spoke to you, right?
Yes.
SOS, brother. That's
right.
the only one I know.
That's it. So www.wcarg.org will get you started, and dial up one of the numbers. We'd be glad to provide any information to anybody that wants to get involved in amateur radio.
And is that on a Saturday, this one coming around?
Yes, it is. We'll hold the ham crams on Saturdays.
Okay, awesome. How often do y'all do those?
Once a month. As long
Not
as we
bad.
have at least one applicant, our club, who is community-minded, will all show up. The licensed instructor team will come in, present the material. We'll test you immediately afterward, and hopefully you're successful. So
Yeah, I need to come
Yeah.
do that. I've always wanted to
yeah.
get the license and do that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I've always listened, but I don't know enough. And I don't want to use that phrase because when I had my IT company, it used to irk me when people would, I know just enough to be dangerous. I would hear that every day. I'm sure Joe hears phrases every day that he just bites his tongue like, here we go again. But that was the one that I always heard growing up. People, I know just enough to be dangerous. Or my favorite is, and Rick, you'll like this one, from a technology perspective. Oh, was that easy? That's all you had to do? And you charged me for that? I said, well, that was 20 years of knowledge figuring out how to do that in 2 seconds. So
No, it's a lot of fun. I'd like to do a shout out to Ryan Gills, who has been an outstanding technical expertise, and he is sharp in his field of operations degree and electrical engineering. That guy is sharp as well, and he's been assisting with these guys also.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, friends, if you see these guys, tell them you appreciate them. I know you do, and especially the great hard work that they're doing alongside HMH to help our community become even more safe. It's things that we take for granted every day when we pick up the cell phone and call mother or call our brother or call our family member or friend or text. We don't realize, because we're so used to the technology, that we forget that this can be gone in an instant. And all it takes is one storm, one major thing to happen, and even a minor thing sometimes, something as simple as a bird getting in the middle of a wire and zapping something, for all of this to go down. And then what do? You think about the times you lose power at your house. What do you do? Well, think about what happens if you lose communication. You're in a world of trouble. That's why it's important of what these guys do. So let them know you appreciate them. Go online, Walker County Amateur Radio Group, WCARG.org.
That is correct.
And find out more information. Russ, thank you, man. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you.
I think who reached out to me a couple of years ago who formed this relationship and friendship with y'all was Gary Joyce, if
Yes,
I'm not mistaken.
yes.
And boy, I've always wanted to get to know y'all, and I think it was it Dr. Rathke's office? Was
Yes,
that he
yes.
donated a tower? Is that correct?
He did indeed, yes, for which we raffled off the tower and in Dr. Rathke's memory, and had a nice little bid. The Walker County Amateur Radio Group was a 501(c) organization, nonprofit organization, used those funds to pour back into the community to purchase equipment to make these things happen, and that's what we do. So we were very, very thankful for that donation.
How tall was that tower?
150
See,
feet.
I should have-
with everything, all the turnbuckles, the guy poles, everything. It was fantastic.
See, I missed out because we just
Yeah.
needed an 80-footer. That's what we got licensed for.
Well, I promise you, we're going to take good care of you over here at the First Baptist Church, and we appreciate you very
We
much.
appreciate y'all. There they are again, Walker County Amateur Radio Group in partnership with HMH, doing some great things. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. We got a few more minutes. These guys got to go, and I'll wrap it up when we come back. Stay with us. Let us know what you're thankful for as we continue on. It's your show here on a Tactical Tuesday, reminding you to be on alert. Look out for yourself. Look out for your family. We'll take a moment. We'll be back in a minute. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted, family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
This harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
Coming at you live. Whoa. Did you hear how loud that was?
Yeah, that was loud.
What was that? Coming at you live. Where is... Hello, hello, hello. Why did that echo so weirdly? Weird. Hello? What in the world is going on, Josh? Coming at you live. I got excited about that. Coming at you live.
Yes, sir.
Joshua Mashi joining us, the man behind the scenes, who is a big part of what we do here on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Still got a little bit of that college in him, you know. Every once in a while, he kind of straggles in here about 7:40ish or so, but that's okay. You do a great job. So, if there's one thing I could say about Josh, that's the only little blip. But I give him some grace because it's not mission critical that he's here. If it was, he'd be here 20 minutes earlier. But this young man literally never ever complains about anything that we ask him to do. And you don't know how much that means. And I don't take that for granted, Josh, because there's a lot that we have you doing now. And I never, ever take that for granted. Trust me, there's even more I'd like for you to do, but I don't want to overflow your plate with too much steak right now. But this young man, you know, when people say, oh, there's no hope for the next, that is, I've said it on this show and I'll continue. That is total hogwash. Did you ever say hogwash in Lebanon?
No. Up until, well, actually, I learned a new word here in the U.S. It's called dirtbag.
Oh, yeah, that one's kind of mean. So don't say that one.
I know. I don't say it, but that's a word that my friend was like, "How do you say that word in Arabic?" I was like, "We don't have that word, but like we have each word like separately."
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, Josh is doing an incredible job, though, and I'm giving you a hard time. You really do. I mean, I'm serious, though, Josh. You do anything and everything we've asked, and I appreciate you and our youth. You know, Alyssa helps out with other things as well, and you and her have been such a tremendous asset. And Josh is going to be more involved. You know, we brought on Tyler Fordyce now to help here at first, and he's doing some amazing things. And as we build up Spirit Radio, it's so cool to have people. I've always said this, things do start with a me. They have to. Like, you have an idea. That's you. That's a me, right? But in order for those things to expand, you got to have a we.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking Nintendo either. You know, you have to bring in the we in order for things to happen. You know, you could do some solo projects, but they're only going to get so far. But you've got to build a team, and you have to cast a vision and get everybody else excited about that vision with you. And we've been blessed because Tyler has came on. He's very excited about the vision of what we want to do with the radio. Josh has been excited about it. And now I finally feel like those puzzle pieces are starting to come together. I feel like the Lord has always blessed me with a casting vision, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But in order to carry out the vision, I can only take it to so far, and then I've got to have other people come on and kind of keep that chugging along, and that's what we have now, and that's what's exciting. I've been waiting for this for several years, and now we're finally getting the pieces, and it's all in God's timing. Amen. That's the thing about it, man. We can try to rush things all we want. You know, we've been trying to get this room done since I got here, and I have never once been like, let's get after this. I've been very patient, and I've also been very grateful and have gratitude because there's a lot of people that are having to do a lot of things to make that happen. You know, for this church to allow us to do what we're doing here with this show, and also to have that space, and we'll use it for the church as well, obviously, but it's going to be a big part of a lot of what we do here. Man, I don't ever take that for granted because this church could have easily said, no, we don't want to do that. No, we don't want to be a part of that. And I would have been okay with that. You know, we had our little studio downtown, and I would have lost it because that's been rented out now. You know, they ended up finding somebody else, and he's done an awesome job with what he's doing. But that's what I'm getting at is never, ever take what you have in front of you for granted, especially in the media business. I've told people all the time that you can work your way to the highest of highs and lose it in 2 seconds. I've seen so many great broadcasters lose their jobs in the blink of an eye because they have said things that they probably shouldn't. Well, no, probably they shouldn't have said on the air. I know everybody has opinions about certain things, but sometimes, you know what? My dad taught me this. He said, keep this thing closed more than these things. It's the best advice my dad gave me growing up. And now I talk all the time. But he said, keep this zipped up more than these. And he's exactly right. You know, when I do the show, obviously, it's about talking. We want to reach people, but there's also a time to listen. And the time to listen is more important than the time to talk.
Yeah.
So, well, Josh, you've seen just some cool things over these last 2 years. You know, you've been here helping us at first and, you know, with this vision for not only what we're doing through the church, but also through our radio ministry. I mean, what are some things maybe that you're excited? I'll just put you on the spot. What are some things that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. One of the things I'm excited for, whenever we went out for lunch a couple of weeks ago, and we planned like different shows, I'm excited for these shows. I'm excited to have more like spiritual shows, where we can interview people who for example, are of different spiritual backgrounds, or people from the Christian faith that we have a conversation about a specific thing, and because I see those big people around the world, like Francis Chan has a podcast, and I love tuning in and listening to his podcast, or Ben Stewart has a podcast, or Passion has a podcast. I love those, to listen to what other people have to say about the Christian faith, or Christians, what they want to say about the Christian faith and how we can pursue the Lord better and stuff like that. And I'd like that to happen on our show, or in the station, something local that people can listen to. I like something you said. It's a local station, but it has a global impact.
Yeah, there's some of the. Whoop, I was trying to freeze this thing here, and it didn't freeze up on me, Josh. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. So that's some of the. We just do that. It's a lot easier just to do it that way instead of trying. So this is some of the You're right. You know, I feel like I was talking to Tyler about this yesterday, and in 2020, God put something on my heart, and it was to get out of. It was before that, actually. It was back in 2018. And even before, I got to keep going back. You know, sometimes we don't even take time to pause and reflect like we should. And I go back to about 2016, where I really feel like the Lord started working on me, saying, hey, it's time to get out of this IT stuff and go pursue broadcasting. And I didn't know why. I was just passionate about broadcasting. I had no idea how I was going to make a living doing it. Fast forward to 2018, the opportunity, it took 3 years. I found the right person to sell my business to that I'd had for 14 years. Very grateful for that. And then, I went into a year and a half of just starting to explore other opportunities. And that ultimately led to doing this broadcasting stuff, kind of full time. And every stepping stone, if we look at life as stepping stones when we're in faith, that's exactly what it is. When we're not in faith, it's just doing things. I don't want to live a life of just doing things to do things. I want to live a life that has purpose and meaning, not for me, not even for my family, but for the glory of the Lord. Because that's the legacy that I hope one day, when somebody hears my voice 100 years from now, right now, they're hearing this 100 years in the future, I want them to know how important a relationship with Jesus Christ is. And I can't wait to see you in heaven. That's kind of cool to speak into the future, right?
Yeah.
But I started thinking about all these different things. And then really in 2020, the Lord put on my heart this idea for internet radio. And you know where it started. You've met my buddy Nathan Height probably. Nathan comes and helps me do the games. Nathan had downloaded an app called Citrus, and he was like, hey, I can do my own radio station. And I had messed around. Back when I had dial-up internet, I was hosting a radio station off dial-up internet. And don't ask me how that worked, but it worked. It was terrible because we're talking dial-up. The audio quality was terrible. But this was way back in, 2006, 2007. So I'd already dabbled in it a little bit before it became easily accessible. Now with the internet all over, especially, my goodness, you talk about what Elon Musk is doing with I almost said Skynet. What's it called? I had Starlink. Yeah. I have Starlink. It's unbelievable. The internet access now, global internet access, thanks to Elon Musk. It's crazy. But you fast forward through all that. In 2020, the Lord, through different things, and seed, Nathan planted a seed. It's amazing how many people plant seeds in your life.
Yeah.
And I had this vision because Spirit Austin went off the air. I said, well, let's bring that back, because it was a number 2 radio station in Austin. I said, why'd they pull that off the air? That's ridiculous, because it was money. They sold it for millions of dollars to the same group, I think that was K-Love and those guys. And so we brought it back, but as an app. But I didn't really push it or promote it. But now I see the fruit of why the Lord put that in my life. We grew that in Austin a little bit, and then I said, we're called in God's Word in Mark and it's in Matthew too. I mean, it's in the Bible, in the New Testament, about go and make disciples of all nations. And I've used the verse Mark 16:15, and he told them, go into all the world and preach the good news to everyone.
Yep.
God's Word says preach it to everyone. Doesn't mean preach it to you individually. It does. I mean, that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but the Bible also says preach it to everyone.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. Here's the internet. Here's an opportunity for and now we have global internet.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years, it's going to be very hard to find anybody that doesn't have access to the internet. Mm-hmm. And now we have a way to preach God's Word literally all over the globe.
Yeah.
Instantly. And I feel like God put that into my heart was let's do something special right out of Huntsville.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing, spiritradio.fm, right? So when I moved to Fargo, I carried it with me. So they thought it was Fargo Moorhead because that's the area. It's called FM up there, Fargo Moorhead. So people thought, oh, cool. Christian. Even my boss was like, you're working on that more than you're working here at this ass. Like, no, I'm not. That's just a little side project.
Yeah.
But it was because it was gaining so much traction with people listening that it was showing up all over social media, even up there. And so then when we came back to Huntsville, God opened the doors for this LPFM and to get us locally. So you were saying something earlier, Josh, that I loved. You said something about, the local and the global. And I felt like this, that God has given us a local mission with a global vision. And it's not for us to inform people, but to transform their lives through the power of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like that is what we're called to do. And I'm really excited about the future. And so some of the programming, I'm rambling on here, but I want to show some of the programming. Josh had mentioned this. Well, I focus on the family. Ambassador Advertising is awesome. They have access to all these national programs. But we wanted to bring it home and make it more local. And so, we're considering, we have to look at a few things because of the commercial aspect of it. We can't do commercial advertising. Well, I need to be able to promote local business here in our community. That's what Hello Huntsville is about. So we're working on a couple of things for Good Morning Huntsville to where we may have segments to where we cut into the actual radio so that people can hear, but we just can't be promotional, if that makes sense. Like when I have our friends at Walker County Federal Credit Union, I can't say, hey, go by and see Toy down there. She'll take great care of it. I can't do that over the FM radio. But what I can say is this program is sponsored in part by Walker County Federal Credit Union. So we can still bring them in to a segment to let folks know that they're supporting the station.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, but we're going to have a lunch break show from 11 to 1, just where we talk about what's going on. The thing is, friends, we're going to lift people up and encourage them, and we're going to share the love of Christ, but not every single thing is going to be out of the Bible, if that makes sense. We're just going to talk about life, but we can relate what's happening in life to what God is doing.
Yeah.
So we'll have that lunch. We'll have questions of faith, empowered youth, a mission field, which is, I think you came up with something like that. We were talking about what are missionaries doing around the world, and that was Joshua's idea. So we're going to have a show called Mission Field. We're going to have Call to Kneel, which will be a testimonial prayer show. Think about the opportunity to call in and just say, hey, I'm going through this. Can you all pray? We're going to pray live right there over the air. I think that's so important. We're going to have Heroes of Faith. I've been talking to Tara Burnett. We're going to have an awesome program for veterans who have served in the military that are believers that are going to come on, and they're going to have their own programs sharing their faith about what the Lord has done in their lives. We'll have the gospel show. We want to bring back some old classic hymns, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We want to bring it back. We want to bring back. There you go, Josh. We're going to bring it back, brother. Get him out of here. You have to get with Josh, and I know what that is. But we're going to have that. And I say all these things not to say like, hey, look at what we're doing. This is what the Lord's put on our heart that I'm really excited. We're going to have that gospel show. We're going to have Sunday worship lineup. That's what I'm talking about, with a lot of great classic Christian music and much, much more. And we want you to be a part of it, an opportunity to make an impact here locally, because that's what our license is about. The license, the LPFM, is community radio. It's going to be community news, events, all good things. But then we're going to be able to bring on a global vision.
Yeah.
Because even right now, as we are broadcasting this morning show, we're about to wrap up here in just a few moments. But even as we're doing this right now, Josh Mashi, I'm logging in to our app, and there are 8 people listening right now. Thank you for listening. One of them's Molly. I know. Molly Jeanette listening.
Shout out to Miss Molly.
Shout out to our friend. But there's 5 people over in Europe right now joining us. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
5 people in Europe listening right now. One of them is in Germany, and 3 of them are in Ireland. Look at that. And you wonder how people found this. That's exactly what I'm talking. This is why I don't want to go back on the vision that the Lord put in my heart to reach the nations, to reach the globe. That's part of what it is. And if you move away from what you're called to do, then I don't think things work out. Mm-hmm. Now, the Lord may come in and say, hey, let's shift gears. We're going to do this. But right now, there's nothing impression on my heart that says we shouldn't do that and still have that global vision.
Yeah.
Because we're called to. I mean, it's in the Bible. So, but we are going to take care of Huntsville. So anyways, that's kind of what we're doing, man.
Yeah. Mark, the verse that you said in Mark, and how you related to the Spirit Radio and all that, I want to share a story that happened to me actually yesterday.
Yeah, please, man.
I was leaving my house, and I was also late to my class.
I'm a bad influence.
No. It's a lecture, so I wasn't too worried about it. Like, I can read the book. And so I was going to my class when I got this text on the BSM guys group me, and it said, does anyone know Dr. Blank? I'm not going to say the last name. And other people commented, yeah, the history teacher. And so as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, wait, that might be my professor that I'm late for that class. And he said he passed away.
Oh, no.
And so on my drive to work, to school, I was like, I am a terrible person. How did I not get to share the gospel with this guy? And when I got to campus, I felt like, hey, I need to share the gospel with everyone. Like, how can I do it where everyone can hear and no one can miss out on the gospel? Because, like, there's lost people everywhere. And I got to my class, and it wasn't my professor. It was a different professor that passed away. But he is also in the history department and teaches the same thing. They have, like, 1 letter different in their names.
Wow.
And so, walking back from that class, I was like, I want to share the gospel. I want people to know about Jesus, because like if they pass away today and they don't know Jesus,
that's it.
That's it. But like, we have this mission that Jesus empowered us with to go and proclaim it to the nations.
Mm-hmm.
That Jesus is a God who loves them, who died on the cross for them, and wants a relationship with them. And so, with what we're gonna do here on Spirit FM, I want it to be, for me personally, this is a ministry, a door for people to come and hear about the gospel, and I believe it, that people's lives can be changed. My life got changed based off a sermon I was listening to online.
Wow, yeah.
And so that's when I decided, hey, I need to give my life to Christ. I can't be abusing his grace. I can't be living a life of sin.
Well, anything the Lord can use, in our lives for us to proclaim him. And when we were going down to church in Houston, and one thing that I feel like the Lord's really put a fire in me is for prayer. And seeing how passionate folks like Catherine Nickel and Brian Godown, I'll say their names because they're wonderful folks. They're very humble, but they have a passion for prayer. When I was going down in Houston, I didn't know the full story of, we called her Mama Dodie until after she passed. And I heard another story, and I shared this the other day yesterday from a lady after our fundraiser we had on Thursday night, and someone in her family was, passing away. And they had called the church there in Houston, called the church, the main church line. That's a big church, and it's hard to get a hold of people. And all they said was, hey, so-and-so's passing away. Can you come to the hospital and pray for him? Because they didn't know who else to call. This lady told me this story. And out of all the people that could have showed up, a lot of them, they have lay pastors at churches, that's their job, or chaplains. They go out and pray. And sometimes it's not the main pastor. But out of all the people that could have came, this lady said her jaw dropped when coming down the hall. They didn't know. They didn't go to church. They didn't even go to church there. She said of all the people, it was Dodie Osteen walking down the hall, and she came and prayed with that person in her final moments. And it gave me this, even hearing that, like the Lord has already put on my heart to be a person of prayer. Like we all should pray, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's a minute, like a specific ministry in media, alongside of media, is prayer. Like I love praying with people because that's how we communicate with the Lord. And it was so neat to hear that, because here was a lady that was, at the time, she's probably in her 80s, and anybody could have came, but that was the heart that woman had for people. It didn't matter who you were. And she didn't have to do that, but she did. The Tuesday before she passed away, she was praying with people. That's what she did. 2 days later, she passed away. She told her son, she said, I've just got a little nausea. Went to sleep in her house, woke up in heaven. Boy, what a way to go. And I mention all that, Josh, because you never know the things or the stories that you hear that are going to inspire you to do more for the Lord. And I said, if this lady that didn't even know somebody can get a random phone call from her church, out of all the people, thousands of people that go to this church, and it's not even one of their members, if she can go out, how did she even get the call? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If this lady can go and pray for people, then why can't I do the same? And I mean, it convicts you, but it also inspires you to say, you know what, there's so much more that we can do.
Yeah.
And if we're just getting up every day and going through the motions and living our life, I want you this morning to really focus on the purpose that God has for your life.
Yeah.
Don't get discouraged. Don't get depressed, because you can get in this mindset so easily of saying, well, I don't know what my purpose is. I haven't made an impact. I don't feel like I've touched anybody. And that is a lie of Satan, because each and every one of you has a gift and has a purpose. And I want to encourage you this morning, don't give up on yourself and don't give up on the Lord. And some of you, I've been in this situation. I shared it on Sunday. You know, there was a time in my life and my journey and my relationship with the Lord where church wasn't part of it, where it was just a checkbox, you know, that I allowed life to get in the way. And I realized that the only way that I'm going to grow in my faith is to be around a body of believers. And I'm not saying, can you come to know the Lord on your own? Absolutely. People do that all the time. They open the Bible, they read, and they say, boy, I admit that I'm a sinner. I believe that Christ came and died for my sins, and then he rose again. I believe that he is the one and only Son of God, and I believe that he is the only way to heaven, and I commit my life to him, and I repent of my sins. Can people do that on their own? Sure. They can do it just by reading the Bible.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what, when life comes at you, you better. The Bible says where two or more are gathered, there I am also. You need to be around people to lift you up.
Yeah.
And the best investment that you can make for yourself and the best investment that you can make for your family is to get planted in a local church. And I'm not saying that to get planted here at FBC, although we'd love for you to come. Get planted in a church that believes in the salvation of Jesus Christ, that believes in the power of the blood that Jesus Christ had and has to this day. Get planted in the house of God and watch what he will do. And it may be, you may start to see things happen in your life that you never could have imagined. But I'm also going to challenge you and say this, that you're going to see things in your life that are going to come against you in ways that you've never seen either.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get on that mountaintop, and it's not easy, but when you get on that mountaintop, it's easy to forget how you got there, and then you're going to get kicked down, because we all do. You're going to get kicked off the mountain, and that is where the real test starts. So anyways, I'm rambling on, Josh, but any final thoughts before we go today, man? I just feel like the Lord put that on my heart. And these are the things that we want to share on Spirit Radio. It's going to be great, man.
I'm excited. I really am. I love talking too. So, and I love talking about Jesus a lot. So,
did you ever imagine maybe even like 3 years ago you'd enjoy talking? And see, when you were like, I don't know if I can do this show. Now I always want you on, man. I love having you come sit down with me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous every time for something new, but I'll do it. And once I do it, like once or twice, I'm like, okay, I want to do that. So,
awesome. Well, there he is, Josh Mashi. Hope for the nation, father of every generation. Not you, but you remember. But you remember? You know that song?
No.
Stand and declare. Da, 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 da. It's a good song. I'll let you hear that one later.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that'll wrap it up. Big thank you again to our friends from the Walker County Amateur Radio Group. Great to have Russ Cooper on, Rick Fell, Joe Shorey. I'm really bad with names. I remembered all those guys. Just incredible folks, and they're doing so much for our community through HMH as well. By the way, I did want to mention this. Our streaming is brought to you by Huntsville Memorial Hospital. We're able to reach so many people through Facebook, through Instagram, through LinkedIn, through Spirit Radio. We have to do that through a streaming platform provider. Well, that provider costs money, and we would not be able to do it without the generous support of HMH. They've been supporting this for a long time, and we appreciate them so very much and all the great work that they do here in our community. So I wanted to shout out to HMH for helping us to get the word of the good out here in Huntsville. That'll wrap it up. We'll be back at it tomorrow with Jason Bay of First Baptist here on a what?
No.
Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Taylor Chandler will be back with us from Walker County Federal. I was a day ahead. Thank goodness, man, because I don't have my college work done this week. We will be back at it tomorrow with Taylor Chandler, Walker County Federal Credit Union, Amanda Sturdivant joining us from the Huntsville Public Library. I always love Amanda when she comes on. We'll talk about the upcoming programs that they've got going on and so much more. So make sure to hang out with us. Download our app. Hopefully Apple will, continue their proprietary dominance of the, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I had to buy this garbage just to program iOS apps. But anyways, I will say this. I could click on here and stream it to my TV like that. I can't do that on my PC.
Oh.
That's the one thing that I've been happy with. And I will use this for programming and coding. Just kind of like how it feels. Outside of that, garbage.
If you had a phone, you can stream off your phone to the TV.
Hey, I do want to say something real quick. If any of you have an iPhone 12 or newer, I think the 12 was, like 5 years ago maybe, something?
Yeah, it's before. It's like 2021.
If any of you have one of those laying around and you'd like to donate it to the cause, or even if you just want to sell it, I mean, I don't have a whole lot I could spend on it, maybe $100, but if you have an iPhone 12 or newer, I'm in desperate need for one because I will not switch over from my Android. But I do need an iPhone that I can't just borrow. Like, I need it because I'm programming apps now, and I program them for iOS 17, which will support 12 and higher. And so if you have an iPhone laying around, maybe you said, this thing's been in my closet forever and I just need to get rid of it, please let me know and I will gladly take it off your hands.
I have an iPhone, but it's I don't know if it can work. I never tried. It fell and it never turned back on. So I don't know if you change the battery or something.
Poor little feller.
Yeah, I car ran over it.
So if you have one that works, that would be awesome. Thank you, Josh, though, for offering. Please, I would love that, and I'll give you a shout out, and maybe I can donate a little bit to the cause. But I really do need one. My wife is going to get tired of me borrowing hers late at night before we go to sleep to program stuff. Once again, Apple proprietary. So there you go. But everybody uses it, so I got a program for it. We'll be back tomorrow. Come join us. Hang out with us. We're going to have fun as we continue promoting and celebrating the good here in our community. Big thank you to Joshua Mashi. What a great young man. I'm so proud of this guy, and I know that the best is yet to come in your life. And so continue fighting the good fight, man. I feel honored just to sit next to you, man.
Oh, no.
You've taught me a lot, Josh, and you've helped me become a better man. We'll see you back at it tomorrow, 7:30, as I Endeavor Show, reminding you we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there needs you. One final time, good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We will see you back at it tomorrow at 7:30. See you, Josh.
See ya. Bye.
I was lost, but now I see. Grace came down and rescued me. Through the storm, you held my hand. Now I stand on higher land. When the night is long and hope feels gone, your love will carry me. Your love will carry me. You are the light.